The original version of Fushi's 8 trigrams has no words but only symbols. A Taoism phrase summarizes the evolution of the 8 trigrams. Tai Chi forms 2 modes. 2 modes forms 4 variants. 4 variants forms 8 trigrams. Tai Chi is the origin of myriads. Tai Chi forms 2 modes. The 2 modes are Yin and Yang. 2 modes forms 4 variants. Yin and Yang generate 4 variants. The 4 variants are Great Yang, Less Yin, Less Yang and Great Yin. 4 variants forms 8 trigrams. 4 variants then generate 8 different natural phenomena. They are the sky, the ground, fire, water, mountains, lakes, thunder and wind. 8 trigrams, in Chinese, pronounced as Ba Gua. Ba means 8. Gua is a verb that means hang. Ba Gua means 8 pieces of images being hung in our world. The most significant image must be the sky. Then, how did Fushi draw the image of the sky? He simply drew a curve. But one curve is not strong enough to emphasize the image of the sky. Therefore, he drew 3 curves instead to intensify the image. So the symbol of sky was formed. It was later named heaven. Heaven is the image Fushi observed when he looked up. Earth is the other image he observed when he looked down. How did he draw the image of Earth then? He drew 3 broken lines, representing the Earth. He noticed that our land always appeared in pieces. Earth is divided by roads, rivers, and oceans, but the sky is never divided into sections. That's why Earth is symbolized by 3 broken lines, while the sky is symbolized by 3 solid lines. So, a symbol of Earth was formed. It was later named Earth. The 8 trigrams are differentiated into 2 categories. One category related to heaven, which also represent the energy of Yang. One category related to Earth, which also represent the energy of Yin. The symbol of heaven is made up of 3 solid lines. The upper line, the middle line, and the lower line. In the Taoism language, line has been given a unique name called Yao. Let's take the symbol of heaven as an example. The lower line is named lower Yao. The middle line is named middle Yao. The upper line is named upper Yao. So, what is Yao? In ancient times, people tied knots for record purposes. The Chinese character Yao looks similar to a knot. Yao can record an event, count numbers, or even tell a story. Some say Fushi was using knot records for his 8 trigrams. So, whenever you see Yao change, something is happening. It indicated that an interaction between Yin and Yang is taking place. Let's say, if the lower Yao changes, it means an interaction between Yin and Yang is taking place in the lower part of heaven. If the middle Yao changes, it means an interaction between Yin and Yang is taking place in the middle part of heaven. If the upper Yao changes, it means an interaction between Yin and Yang is taking place in the upper part of heaven. The idea is very clear. So, what does it mean if we see the lower Yao of heaven changed? Fushi recognized it's an image of wind. Wind blows over the earth, penetrating the tree gently. Wind is invisible, but we can definitely feel its movement. So, a symbol of wind was formed. It was later named Sun. So, now, we come up with the middle part of heaven. What image bring up to Fushi's mind if the middle Yao of heaven change? Fushi visualized an image of fire. Whenever there is a fire, we can spot the flame rise up to the sky. So, a symbol of fire was formed. It was later named leave. How about the upper Yao of heaven changed? What does it mean? In the old days, when Fuxi had no satellite, how could he know what is happening up in the sky? Fuxi is a brilliant thinker. When he looks at the lake, he sees the reflection of the sky. Lake give people peaceful impression, which is so soothes and heals. A symbol of lake was formed. It was later named Joy. Now, you are able to realize that all these three images are related to heaven. Movement take place in the lower part of heaven is wind. Movement take place in the middle of heaven is fire. Movement take place in the upper part of heaven is lake. Easy to remember, right? Earth somehow apply the same concept. Earth is symbolized in three broken lines. When movement take place in the lower part of Earth, what image is conveyed? Earthquake? Right? Something happens in underground layer of the Earth. Something very powerful, striking, arousing. Fuxi also visualize lightning and thunder. Lightning strike cloud to ground cause thunder. So, a symbol of thunder was formed. It is later named Quake. How about movement taking place in the middle part of the Earth? Fuxi defines it as water. Water saturates the ground and begins to flow downhill across the surface of the slope. Oceans, seas, rivers, streams, and waterfalls are the natural creatures we can find on Earth. And flow of water is like a wave pattern, somehow looking quite alike to Fuxi's symbol. So, a symbol of water was formed. Unlike peaceful lakes, seawater can be devastating and dangerous. So, it was given a name, pit. And the last image is mountain. Look at Fuxi's symbol, don't you think it looked like a mountain? Mountain is a natural elevation of the Earth's surface. Thus the upper part movement of the Earth. So, a symbol of mountain was formed. It is later named Gen. These three images are related to Earth. Movement take place in the lower part of Earth is thunder. Movement take place in the middle part of Earth is water. Movement take place in the upper part of Earth is mountain. The 8 trigram looked very complicated. In fact, if you understand its meaning behind, it's no difficult at all. The Book of Changes is like a holy Bible written by the 3 most honored sages, Fuxi, King Wen and Confucius. Fuxi created the 8 symbols, while King Wen named these 8 symbols: heaven, joy, leave, quake, soon, pit, gen, and earth. These names have been used until now, and they have had a significant influence on subsequent great masters and scholars who have sought to understand the essence of the Book of Change. You might have noticed that the English names I translated were a bit different from the other English copies. For example, the current translation of the symbol of the lake is done, which is just the pronunciation of the Chinese word. And I am not so into the current translation, which I personally think fails to reveal the actual implication behind it. I'd rather translate it in a meaningful attempt. It might also give the audience a throughout picture of the Book of Change. However, I encountered difficulty translating the symbols of wind and mountains because their Chinese names are no ordinary in the modern world. So, I will just stick to the current English name, which is only a pronunciation of the Chinese word. So, these names are what I prefer. Fuxi placed these 8 images in a sequence that is perfectly in line with our nature. When you combine it with the Tai Chi diagram, You will notice that the yang energy is developed in leave and reaches its ultimates in heaven, while the yin energy is developed in Xun and reach its ultimates in earth. It also explains why earth signify winter, leaves signify spring, heaven signify summer, and pit signify autumn. I hope you like this video. It's time for our 1-minute writing session. Today, we learned Chinese number 4 and number 8.